Hi guys, welcome to Reen's Place. Today is Chuck's birthday, so I'm making him a Hershey's Black Magic cake. It's a really rich chocolate cake. It's a super old recipe. Originally, I believe it came on the back of the Hershey cocoa box. I'm not sure if it still has it or not. I'm just reading it quick to see if it's the same recipe. Boiling, okay. No, it's not the same recipe that's on here now. But I'm going to post the original one for you. Probably older than me. Not saying something. Okay, so this is Chuck's birthday cake. Again, super moist, super rich, super delicious. It's homemade cake, and it just takes a little preparation, but it's a super easy recipe. So let's begin. What we're going to need is a 9 by 13 pan. Let's see what... you can do this really in any kind of pan. I'm using a 9 by 13. You could also do it in two 9-inch rounds. You could do it in a tube pan, like a bundt pan. Today we're doing a 9 by 13. All I did was I took my pan and I sprayed it with some spray that has the flour in it. This one is Pam. Also another good one is Baker's Joy. If you didn't have that, you could just grease it with either butter, margarine, shortening, and then do flour on top of it. Being that it's a chocolate cake, though, I probably would dust it with cocoa powder rather than flour, just so that you don't have white on the outside. Okay, let's move on here. We need 2 eggs. Can you see? 2 eggs, a teaspoon of salt, a half a cup of vegetable oil, a teaspoon of vanilla, 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 3/4 cup of Hershey's cocoa. You're going to need a cup of buttermilk or sour milk. And basically what that would be a cup of milk that you put a teaspoon of vinegar in. 2 cups of sugar, 1 cup of strong black coffee or 2 teaspoons of powdered instant coffee plus 1 cup of boiling water. 1 teaspoon of baking powder and 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Now don't worry about writing all this down because I'm going to give you the directions in the description box. So let's get started. It says to preheat your oven at 350 degrees. Because I'm using a bakeware dish, I'm not going to preheat my oven until I'm ready to get over there. But you go ahead and do yours if you want to. What we're going to start with is I'm using my KitchenAid just because I'm tired and it's easier. In my bowl, I'm going to add the sugar, which is the only thing that I did not measure out. Give me a moment. Let me get over there. How much does it say for sugar? It says that we're going to need 2 cups of sugar. Okay. This is a half cup measure, so we're going to need 4. 1, 2. That wasn't really 3. 3. And 4. Where is the cup? Okay, so what are we getting in here? We're putting the sugar in, the flour, which again 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 3/4 cup of cocoa powder. Yummy. We're going to do baking soda and baking powder and the salt. So let me do the salt. It's 1 teaspoon of salt. Baking powder is how much? 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Do I have 2 teaspoons in here? If not, I'll have to break out the other box. 1. Okay, 2. back in Big Rhonda. And today is my little cousin Lauren's birthday as well. I didn't know that her and Chuck shared a birthday, but they do. So happy birthday, Lauren. I'm sure you're quite a bit younger than Chuck is today. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to mix this stuff going just a couple times to get it mixed up. While that's starting to mix, I'm going to crack my eggs in here real quick. Okay, so it's going good. I'm going to add my eggs. Whoop. Whoop. 2 eggs to that. My 1 cup of coffee, strong. Now this cake is a very thin batter. And the first couple times I made it, I was like, oh, it's too thin, but it really isn't. And it's so moist and dense, it's delicious. I've tried several different chocolate cake recipes, and I always come back to this one. Okay, buttermilk, delicious. Okay, I'm putting a cup of buttermilk in. Let me just make sure. See how thick that is? If you can get the buttermilk, it really is a nice addition rather than, you know, making the soured milk. But you could do it the other way too. It's not a big deal one way or the other. Now let me just, vanilla. How much vanilla do we need? A teaspoon. I'm just going to give a drop. It looks like a teaspoon. I'm going to just raise this up a little bit to speed. We're going to mix it for about 2 minutes or so. And again, if you don't have a stand mixer, you could totally do this in a bowl with a spoon or with a hand mixer. That would be totally fine. I just want to use a spatula and scrape the outside edges. You know what? I got a brand new beater that has the spatula thing on it, and do you think I would have put that in? No. That would have made sense. Next time. Easter's coming. I will make lots of stuff and use my new spatula attachment. Okay. I'm going to put it on again. It's very thin, not like the cake batters that you get when you buy one from the store. But oh my god, you should see when this bakes. It's so dark. It's so delicious. And coffee, I don't know if you know, brings out the flavor of chocolate. So if you ever want to add something, say you're making a boxed brownie mix, throw a little coffee in there. Instead of the water that it tells you to put in, put some coffee in instead. Okay, so we're looking pretty good here. I don't know if you can see. I am going to get it into the pan. Okay. Chuck was home, he'd be licking this right now. But he's not. Okay, so I have my prepared pan. can't wait to make this. Okay, that's all there is to this. I'm going to bake this in a 350 degree oven for 50 to 55 minutes. And then I'm going to take it out and let it cool off. And I can show you what it looks like when it's done. What I'm going to do in a separate video is a peanut butter frosting, a homemade peanut butter frosting. That, oh my God, it is so good. I had it a few years ago at a job that I was at, and the woman who made it wouldn't give me like instructions or directions or the recipe on how to make it. She would say like, oh, it's just peanut butter and what did she say? Peanut butter and powdered sugar. It was not peanut butter and powdered sugar. So I went online, I found a couple recipes, I tweaked it to what I remember, and I think I came up with it. So we're going to do that later on. Again, that'll be a homemade peanut butter frosting. That will be the name of that video. And I will, unlike that person, be happy to share my recipe with you. So let's get this in. 350, 50 to 55 minutes, and we'll come back. Okay, so I just took the cake out of the oven. I did 350 degrees for 50 minutes. I inserted a toothpick into the middle, and it came out clean, so it's completely done. Don't be alarmed by the weird texture on the top. I think that's just because the water that the recipe calls for is hot, so it kind of gives it like a bubbly appearance, but it's totally fine. And please look into my next video, which is how to make homemade peanut butter frosting. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to frost this with peanut butter frosting after it cools completely, and then it's going to go in the refrigerator. And oh my God, the texture of this and the flavor is outstanding. So I hope you'll look for that other video, and I hope you enjoy the chocolate cake, and I hope that you subscribe and leave me a comment. See you all soon.